For us, we see as the World Bank, as an institution, one of our new mandates is basically to see how we can improve the prosperity of the population, and part of that grows clearly through the provision of more food directly to them. I think if the populations can produce more and sell more, then we help improve livelihoods, but also growth. You know that Gambia's growth is directly linked to production in agriculture, so helping enhance that. There's a lot that's happening in the sub-region in terms of reliable seed, improved seeds that can make clearly, I think, the lives of women. We also know that 70% of the agriculture work is done by women to make sure that not only can they produce food, but that they can produce food that is nutritious for them and for their kids. So clearly we've been talking about that. We've been talking about education and skills and how one can, the Gambia has not made a lot of progress in meeting the MDG goals. They've done a lot on access, how we can do a lot more on quality to make sure that not only do you have access, but you have quality, because as Gambia becomes an increasing tourist destination, you're going to need more skills. We've talked about infrastructure. One of the things we're here today to do with the rest of the donor community, the Arab funds, the ISDB, the ADB, and others, is basically to see how we can improve inter-regional trade, inter-regional linkages. A lot of the trade that happens in the Gambia and the sub-region is by roads, how one can improve the road network, how one can improve, I think the ADB is working very hard on the Gambia Bridge, how we can do more of that to link the continent together so that it's a prosperous continent together. We talked about maternal mortality as well, and infant mortality, and how we can help reduce those numbers, making sure clearly all that goes with good fiscal management, and so how one can clearly do all of this progress and all of this development that is very needed for the Gambia in the context of, I think, good fiscal management, making sure that the private sector has access to affordable financing in the context of good budget management, good domestic spending, and containing the domestic debt, so that I think things that we launched, this is a program that was launched under the leadership of His Excellency the President with the page in 2012, and its implementation, I think, is starting full steam ahead, and we're going to see how we can keep working on that. So it's an ambitious program, and the Minister of Finance, who is also the governor of the World Bank, is also working with us in collaboration with the other donors to see how we can put this program together in place. So that's a little bit of the discussion that we were having.
World Bank Country Director for the Gambia and 4 other West African countries, Vera Songwe, there after a meeting with Professor Jame. The Gambia Bureau of Statistics is preparing the ground for the forthcoming population and housing census. GBOS, as it is called, on Monday commenced a 6-day training for trainers ahead of the exercise slated for April this year. Mama J was there and she filed in this report.
2013 conduct another population and housing census meant to count all the people in the country in order to provide the government with the correct statistics and information in each local area and districts, including age, sex, and several other characteristics. These figures are required for various aspects of economic and development planning. It could be recalled that the last national census was conducted in 2003. Speaking at the opening ceremony, the regional census officer for Kanifing, Rohiyatu C. Kaur, said census is all about data collection in a standard and more efficient manner. The advisor to the Statistician General, Aliun Dao, noted that the concept and definition of the training is not new to the trainees. He expressed optimism about the caliber of people being trained for the job. The Statistician General, Nyakasi Sanyang, recalled the first census and gave an insight into the program.
Records show that a census was taken in the Gambia first in 1881, and every 10th year thereafter. However, because of the war, the 1941 census could not be held. It was deferred to 1944 when a count of Banjul, then Batos, was taken. The 1951 census covered only Banjul and Combo St. Mary, and the rest of the population of the country for that year was based on estimates by the traveling commissioners. The 1961 census, which was deferred to 1963 on account of general elections, was the first complete and simultaneous count of the country's population.
Mr. Sanyang further pointed out the critical role of the trainees in producing the desired and quality data, adding that the program is not only meant to train but to help recruit the right people for the task that lies ahead. Mama J, GRTS.
means of ensuring effectiveness and the harmonization of development interventions in the Gambia is the subject of a forum that got underway on Monday. The Joint Assistance Strategic Framework meeting organized by the World Bank and the African Development Bank brings together officials from the Gambia government and representatives of the country's development partners. Abdullah Baji tells us more.
Donor management is considered a very effective tool dealing with the duplication of interventions, besides helping in charting the way forward in addressing the development agenda of the Gambia. The Joint Assistance Strategy, an initiative of the World Bank and the African Development Bank, is anchored on ensuring the effective monitoring and planning of projects for the management of good management strategies.
This high-level meeting, we attach a great deal of importance to it, as it provides a unique opportunity to exchange views with stakeholders and review progress in the implementation of government projects and programs and map our strategies for more effective and efficient utilization of development assistance. We have the firm belief that donor coordination will reduce the incidence of duplication of interventions and help in cutting the way forward with clear strategies in addressing the development agenda of this country.
Francis Litimbuch is the Minister of Works, Construction and Infrastructure.
Road transport is the dominant mode of transport in the Gambia, and the road network has undergone profound transformation in the past 15 years through significant investment by government and development partners. This has resulted in 75% of the primary road network being in paved standard. The reconstruction of the 125-kilometer Laminkoto-Pasimos Road project will complement the investments already made by government and ensure that the entire primary network is built to paved standard. The project would rejuvenate a strategic area of the country renowned for agriculture and other economic activities.
The Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs also took part in the discussions.
The joint assistance strategy prepared by the World Bank and the ADB and implemented during the period 2008-2011 marks a first step in harmonizing donor assistance in the Gambia in line with the Paris Declaration on Aid Effectiveness. The JAS was meant to align donor interventions with national priorities, streamline and reduce the time and cost burden of missions on government, scale up interventions and use and strengthen national systems, processes and procedures. This is indeed desirable as the JAS approach emphasizes selectivity, taking into account the comparative advantages of participating partners in the arrangement. It is an important arrangement that enhances complementarity, reduces duplication, and in instances where budget support and sector budget support instruments are utilized and encouraged as a government, it supports our country systems, enhances capacity, and ensures greater transparency and accountability in aid resources management.
The Joint Assistance Strategy Initiative is also envisaged to facilitate better program alignment and the harmonization of the development assistance in the Gambia. For GRTS News, I am Abdullah Baji.
We'll take a short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Protesters in Egypt's Tahrir Square have set a police vehicle on fire after a day of demonstrations against President Mohamed Morsi. And in Somalia, at least 10 people have been killed after a suicide bomber rammed his explosive-laden car into a car carrying the head of Somalia's secret services. For more on those, let's join the CFI report.
Were killed by a car bomb in central Mogadishu in one of the bloodiest attacks in the Somali capital in recent months. The suicide bomber purposely rammed his vehicle into the car occupied by the head of the Somali Secret Services. 4 people were killed here, and others were killed in the minibus.